Ladies and gentlemen, who is misleading the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua? Or let me ask it the other way around, but more vindictive. That why is Ruto misleading Rigathi? Welcome to the Bold Analysis. This is the most informative political podcast. I want us to look at this fact with a lot of soberness and very objective. It is not a coincidence that the deputy president is making coincidence of quick succession of political blunders, one after the other. After losing the fight with Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, and they hatched a pseudo handshake, he has opted to revert back to Raila Odinga ridicule. I'm not going to, I wanted to maybe for a glimpse of what happened. Today, the deputy president is asking Kenyans a question after seeing how the youthful President Ruto inspected the guard of honor at the pass-out ceremony in Embakasi. And he's asking them a question. He's asking Kenyans that he was wondering if Raila could move at that speed, if Raila would be the president. And I saw another Twitter user saying that how did Kibaki do it if, even though his age had advanced? And so let's take a break and ask. I think it was politically in order, and the indecency at political campaign is our order of campaigns to ridicule and demean the personality of your competitor using those age as demographics, the age demographics and other factors. And it was at the campaign trail. But now, what is the obsession with that? What is the obsession with us versus them? I'm not going to share that video. I know some of you people have watched it. Maybe have seen it. What is shocking about this, and why I was even wondering that who is least misleading who, is that President Ruto is supposed to visit Nyanza on Friday. If you go to Twitter, this outburst, or rather this ridicule of Raila Odinga is already trending there. And Raila is trending at number 1 as we talk now. And it is because of that attack from Rigathi Gachagua. So after the Sakaja thing, over some time, and that's why I was saying that he consistently wants to be trending all over. People will ask, why are we sowing the seeds of hate or discord? Especially the moment when President Ruto, his boss, is going to Raila Odinga's village. And so when you do that, and that animosity or that acrimony, you perpetuate that acrimony, what do you expect? And I would just ask, would Rigiji also mind maybe one day going meeting or being with Raila Odinga's supporters at one point? It's something that it irritates. I compare it to the controversy, to what I see with musicians doing. You know, musicians are the people that like clout chasing when before they release a song, they'll go to an extent of faking pregnancies, breakups, accidents, and surprise gifts, fake how they are buying cars worth millions to surprise their girlfriends only for them to be seen as people who are to clout chase. So do we have a man who is cloud chasing? I want to say my personal submission on that Rigiji is not such a bad man. And I know at campaign trail, we saw a man who people saw like he's a dwarf. People thought academic dwarf. Who, there have been a lot of bad adjectives that describing the character, but that's not him. If you look at his conduct at this the debate, he performed fairly. You look his conduct. He's not an intellectual dwarf, but everything he does is done in the prefix of with only two things in mind, and that's the challenge. It's not on in incompetence. I want us to get it right. It's not incompetence to deliver as a deputy president, but it's just a myopic. One friend of mine will say parochial. I don't know that it applies there. Two things with narrowly looking at two objectives. The public have constructed a premise on the conduct of deputy president that is his quest to be Mount Kenya kingpin. And no one has a problem with that. In fact, I'm even wondering why it has to go to that extreme when he's not under any competition. I'm not saying Rigiji having competition from anyone to be the Mount Kenya kingpin. I don't see any person who is succeeding, who is competing with him. The other reason is plot to outsmart Musalia Mudavadi in his quest to succeed Ruto in 2032. And that is why, let me just revisit a bit of that scuffle with Sakaja. The scuffle with Sakaja elevates Sakaja. In fact, it builds Sakaja more than how he says. And that's why I was asking, who is misadvising him? It's because he's not selective on what the battle, he's fighting all the battles. When not all these battles, the victory is not leading him to his achievement. For example, if you win the battle with Sakaja, how does it help you in 2032? No. It sets you against the people of Nairobi. If successfully, Sakaja will one day tell the people of this country that Rigiji is the person that stopped him from decongesting the city. How do people, Kenyans, look at you? That's why I ask for the second time, who is misleading Rigiji? Let me tell you, Ruto is exploiting a weak link, and that is appetite for combative politics. But this is also reducing him to a political canon being used to fight others. The words of Jeremiah Kioni. That's what Jeremiah Kioni said. That Rigiji is being used to fight everyone, anything, and anyone.
Given the trade we have seen in the last 100 days now plus, this is a one-term government. I am certain. The same Kenyans who put them in office are the same Kenyans who stop them. Whether they plan to lead 2027, whether they have their brothers and sisters in the IEBC, this government will not see 2027 if they do not. If this is the trade that they have taken. And for Gachagua, the die is cast. William is done with you. If he had any respect for you, he will not be shifting you from one office to the other. He will not be using you. He will not be using you as the cannon, because the mouth has a loose cannon, and he has been used. His mouth is the weapon to hit others. As you go down, leave the Kikuyu community alone. Don't go down with it. I thank you.
I am a very strong crusader of combative politics. I don't like the gentleman approach. The politics of son of Mudamba, Salim Davadi, the politics of Kalonzo Musyoka, the politics of Sakaja. I like the brand Sonko bit because that's what Kenyans understand best. Yeah, the gentleman aspect, they look at you as a very cagey person. Kenyans generally like leaders who are seen as brave. No, people who face it. That's what made Nani who he is. That's what made Joho get the name. When he could take on President Uhuru Kenyatta head on in Mombasa, the run up to 2017 general election, and people saw Joho as a very strong person. That's how Ledamo Lekina will make a name in Bomas. People like Kenyans want to interact and rather associate with people who are seen as brave, because the society, we seem to have a society that is weak. We have a society that looks for people who can fight for them. That's why Raila Odinga's political story is normally strong on the brevity, the courage that he used, that he's shown when he faced off Moi era and the others. So Rigiji, on that front, I like that brand of politics, but it must also be guided. It must be guided by different factors on ground. Otherwise, it's a war that you win and you don't get anything. We have now, we are at a stage, guys. From August 9th, September there are a lot of denials and very strong venom against President Uhuru Kenyatta's regime. And that's where people are telling Raila that leave opposition roles, don't checkmate William Ruto. Then at somewhere around rather November there, people had settled in and people had accepted that, look here, we have a government, let's see what happens. That's why in December we were asking for the first 100 days, and as we started 2023, everyone is comfortable. Oh, we have a government, Ruto is our president, we are looking for what's going to happen. We are only asking questions on what is happening there, whether that is going to work or what should be done. And that's also even us in the political desks. That's what we do. We ask questions and do reminders. But the integration is there. The video you are seeing in your screen is a video of governors drawn from both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza attending the summit, the retreat in Naivasha, brainstorming and being together with the Kenya Kwanza government. It's a very good picture that people seems to be forging in some direction. Orengo yesterday was out praising William Ruto for the rice upgrade, rice production, rice farming project to be implemented in Siaya. I think that's under the Yola Swamp program. So Kenya is forging. Maybe we'll come back to controversies somewhere. But then now, boom, Rigathi is talking about that. But yes, that's what people think. What's really happening? I want to tell you 3 reasons why I see Gachagua is being misled. My premise was it's William Ruto. Maybe at the end of the analysis we'll also agree whether it's that or not. His message is not consumed by Gema fans, but the whole country. So how, if you want to be Gema kingpin, and as you please Gema, you are hurting the other 41 or the other 39. So how do you, and you get that Gema patronage, how does it help you as a person? Because that's it. How does it help you? How about if you get to be the kingpin, but you have you and them, you are friends, fans. Let me use the word fans, or so your psycho fans. But the others also regroup. It's a blunder because other people that are uncomfortable with him might regroup away from him and form a very strong force and wrestle him down. And the clearest indicator is the recent plan. He went to Mount Kenya to pray. Prayers are good, prayers are sacred. And I really understand, It's symbolic, phenomenon, speaking on behalf of the community. On that direction, I'm telling you, Rigathi Gachagua is in the path of becoming the kingpin. They're not from that place, but even people who are saying this and that seems to be saying, okay, we have to deal with it. It's a choice. Ruto have helped us made it. We have to deal with it. Now, when he was going to the mountain, it's something like a euphoria. What we were expecting is that after him, you will see youths, maybe the women in the flurry. Many people going there after going day one, and that's why when day one, maybe day two, day three, Wangenda Daye, or some people now also want to catch up with him. But you only see two senators. I only saw two senators, the Kiabu senator and the other one. I think I didn't even see the host senator of Nyeri. The only two leaders. So what that means here is, and even at the scaffold of the Sakaja, only some few, less than 10, came in his defense publicly. No one from Ruto's circle, not Alice Wahome, not Njuguna, the treasury, not Moses Kuria, came in his defense on the issue of Nairobi. What are we saying? That whatever the niche is cutting is not convincing to all. So that's why I see it's not really in order. Lastly, there is activism on against Uhuru Kenyatta, and Ruto has trapped it by taking him to tea and those other Mount Kenya reforms areas. Rigiji himself has benefited from controversial withdrawal of billion rated cases. How about if Uhuru fights back? In fact, he's being misled to, someone is misleading him to tell him that he can fight Uhuru Kenyatta. You can't. It cannot be about Uhuru Kenyatta, because about if he fights back. And I'm saying this because Uhuru worked with Ruto for 10 years. They differed the last 3 years or 4. But these people have been together for that. The person that gave William Ruto the mantle power is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. If Uhuru is to call President Ruto and ask President Ruto X, Y, Z, so what's going to be? If Uhuru wanted to destroy Ruto, he would have destroyed Ruto when Ruto was the deputy president. He did not. So these people knew themselves before you. That direction, to me, is where he sees totally being misled. The good man have good ambitions and is having the network and is a finisher, is having the speech, what he can tell the people. But the way they approach is a bit, I think it's a man who is being misled. That's my take.